Are you feeling guilty about overeating or overindulging over the holidays? I want to explain today why beating yourself up is the last thing you should do if you want to get a breakthrough. In the Slender for Good community, we talk all the time about how to maintain healthy eating consistently, day after day, week after week, year after year, whether it's a weekday or a weekend. It's our birthday, it's a wedding, we're at home or we're traveling, we're celebrating or we're upset about something, even through the holidays. Why do we talk about how to maintain healthy eating consistently? Because that's how we get and keep life-changing results. And that's how these habits get easy, so we never have to diet again. This week, we've been talking about how we can come off a holiday event, some of us feeling like, dang, I overindulged, I violated my own principles. We can feel frustrated with ourselves and worried about the consequences. Am I going to gain weight now? Am I going to have trouble getting my healthy eating habits going again? So if you're in this situation, I want to help you let yourself off the hook. Today, I want to explain why this happens to us. I want to explain how to handle the slip or bloop, what to do, what not to do to get back on the healthy eating train and not end up with undue suffering over consequences. I want to give you 6 keys to show yourself grace and compassion as you advance on the journey of establishing healthy eating habits and living slender for good. So I can tell you, in our community, first, we celebrate what did go well. What if 80% of everything went really well? Let's celebrate that. Second, we want to come back to our prime point of prioritizing eating abundant quantities of especially fruits and vegetables. It helps us keep full and satisfied. It helps us have steady energy and mental focus and emotional calm. Our body and our mind are just happy eating those foods. And this is absolutely foundational to our success. But what I want to focus on today is that it's actually really important to give ourselves grace and compassion in this process, right? Let's face it, we are facing a perfect storm of challenges. First of all, humans are wired to enjoy eating sweet stuff and calorie-dense foods and to eat as much of it as we can whenever we get the chance. That is just part of the evolutionary history of the human species. And our brains are designed to drive us toward calorie-dense foods. And then our bodies are designed to store excess fat to prevent starvation when we're not eating enough nutritious foods. So here's the problem in our times. The problem is that the environment we live in is full of highly processed, calorie-dense, low nutrition food-like substances. There are more of those in our food environment than there are real highly nutritious foods. 73% highly processed, 27% highly nutritious. So understandably, in these times, over the course of our lives, we've all developed habits and emotional attachments to eating the calorie-dense foods that we consider treats whenever we can. Most of us also learn to cope with uncomfortable feelings and emotions with food and drink. And our cultural conditioning is set up to encourage us to eat lots of treats over the holidays. Like, this is a special occasion. You only get these things on the holidays. This can promote a kind of a scarcity feeling, like I have to have it now. So there's really a perfect storm of challenges leading us to overindulge at this time of year. And I'd love to hear your experience with this. Have you beaten yourself up over indulgent eating? And I'd wonder what words go through your mind. What do you notice you say to yourself? And I'd love to see that in the comments below. So it's really important to resist interpreting this as a failure. Many of us have had the habit of beating ourselves up when we fall short of our goals. We think it's going to motivate us. But research shows the opposite is true. So telling ourselves, I failed, it's harsh and it's self-defeating. It doesn't help us move forward toward our goals more effectively. It stops us in our tracks. It takes the wind out of our sails. So catch that thought and interrupt it. Embracing truly healthy eating as your daily habit requires learning new skills and shifting ingrained mindsets, all while navigating challenges like our own habits, our own emotional states, and our environment and our culture. It gets easier if we can keep ourselves in a state of emotional calm, not self-criticism, but in a state of growth and learning. Beating ourselves up puts us in a stressed, emotionally threatened state, and that blocks learning. Think about it. When we're confused or worried or afraid, we don't learn well. Fear triggers a stress response, and that narrows our focus and gives us tunnel vision. It pushes us towards survival, not growth and learning. So, in that state of stress and fear and tunnel vision, the brain is avoiding new information and it's just really sticking with the status quo. Let's stay with our current habits. Let's stick with our current path. So, when you're ready to build life changing habits, you want to create a calm, curious environment. Ask yourself questions in a kind of objective way. I didn't know that was going to happen. What can I learn from this? What was happening before? What thoughts or feelings was I experiencing? And was the reward as satisfying as I expected? So we want to stay curious and thoughtful and objective. So to set yourself up for success with your habit change journey, you need to give yourself grace and compassion. So I want to give you 6 ways to build the muscle of self-compassion. I know it took me a lot of effort, actually, when I really decided to change my eating and drinking. I had to work on building the muscle of self-compassion. So the first thing is relate to yourself kindly, like you would relate to a good friend. So your good friend comes to you and says, "Oh, I behaved in a way I shouldn't have behaved, and I feel so foolish." You would relate to them with kindness and gentleness. You'd be patient and understanding. You'd show empathy and you'd be encouraging. That would help your friend keep learning, growing, and going forward. So showing kindness to yourself is key for you to keep learning and growing and going forward. So treat yourself with kindness. Secondly, treat yourself with humanity, like embrace your flaws. All humans are flawed. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. We need to give ourselves grace and compassion. I'm just human. I make mistakes too, right? Third, recognize that sometimes the scope of the challenge is bigger than you thought. Sometimes I've gone to an event and I felt like I'm totally ready for this. I'm going to have a great time just eating healthy things and relating to the people. And then something about the event surprised me and became more challenging than I expected. So we can say to ourselves, I failed, but wow, that was a bigger challenge than I expected. Fourth, we can recognize that you may not have been as prepared as you thought for the challenge. So I love this when you're working with people who have gone through a failed marriage. I failed at marriage. This is not a helpful perspective. I'm a failure at marriage. No, a different perspective. I was not prepared to succeed at marriage. Or one of the women in my program this last week was talking about how 2 weeks ago she was visiting Spain and she was very successful maintaining her healthy eating approach. But then she's gotten to France, can't find a grocery store, is feeling quite unprepared for the challenges of visiting France. But it's helpful to recognize it's a matter of preparation because then you can get prepared for the next time and go again. Fifth, we want to recognize that luck or circumstances can play a role too. I recently did some travel thinking it was going to be fine, but my flights did not go as expected. And by the time I got to my Airbnb, and I hadn't eaten in 8 hours and had to eat whatever I could find. So circumstances played a role that day. And number 6 is normalize failure. You think about learning to ski. I learned to ski as an adult, and that meant falling. There was a lot of falling involved. You have to be willing to do some falling to learn to ski as an adult. And similarly, establishing truly healthy eating habits in these times, we're going to fall sometimes, right? So establishing truly healthy eating habits so they get really consistent and they produce enviable results. You get slender for good. This is absolutely doable. It's a gorgeous thing. I've helped hundreds of people now achieve life-changing results getting slender for good. We're on track to live healthy, long lives. So I can tell you the women and men I work with tell me every week, this is easy, it's simple, it's so much more rewarding than we imagined. But it's only possible when you're okay with having some falls, with having some challenging moments, with feeling unprepared sometimes, having some mistakes, some glitches, right? You need to normalize that and be kind to yourself. You're only human. Right? So I hope those 6 points about self-compassion are helpful to you. Establishing truly healthy eating habits can give you a significantly better, richer, longer, healthy life. So please celebrate every step forward and treat yourself with so much grace and compassion on this journey. All right, take care. Hey, before you go, if you've been wondering how you can finally get a life-changing breakthrough with healthy eating and weight loss, I want to let you know that's exactly what the Slender for Good program is designed to help you achieve. The program is way more effective than other programs we found out there, and there's at least 3 reasons for this. First, it's using a truly healthy eating approach that's proven effective for weight loss that lasts, including for women over 50 and 60. Second, the program is designed with enough personalized coaching and community support to help you change your habits for good. And third, it's by invitation only, and it gives me a chance to meet you and really help you figure out if you're ready for real change and if this is exactly the approach that is likely to work for you.